moving! Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop moving!
He's coming out armed! A deputy's voice crackles over the radio, slicing through the quiet of a rural night in Cameron, New York. It's October 21st, 2024, and what begins as a routine welfare check is about to erupt into a deadly standoff that will leave a community grieving, a family shattered, and a nation grappling with hard questions about mental health and law enforcement. This is the story of Alan Hode, a man known to those close to him as Moose, and a tragedy that could have been prevented. At 12:40 a.m., deputies from the Steuben County Sheriff's Department pull up to a modest home on Angel Road. The call came from Hode's own family, concerned for his mental state, hoping for help. They expected compassion, perhaps a conversation to ease their loved one's distress. Instead, they're met with chaos. 50-year-old Alan Hode steps onto his porch, his voice loud and agitated, confronting the officers with raw intensity. The deputies try to calm him, but the situation escalates in an instant. Without warning, Hode raises a shotgun and fires. "Shots fired! Shots fired!" a deputy yells, as pellets rip through the night, striking 2 patrol vehicles. Windshields shatter, metal buckles, and the officers scramble for cover, their hearts pounding as they realize this is no ordinary call. The damaged vehicles force the deputies to retreat, their radios buzzing with urgent chatter. They establish a perimeter around the house, cordoning off Angel Road as the quiet rural neighborhood transforms into a tense standoff zone. The Steuben County SWAT team arrives, their heavy gear clanking in the darkness, joined by crisis negotiators trained to defuse high-stakes encounters. For the next 12 hours, the scene is a pressure cooker. Negotiators take to the loudspeaker, their voices steady but pleading. "Alan, come out peacefully. We don't want anyone to get hurt," they call out, hour after grueling hour. They try every tactic in the book. Calm reassurances, appeals to reason, offers of support. But Hode's responses are chilling. He speaks of mass killings, his words dripping with defiance. He vows to leave the house armed and dangerous, leaving no doubt that he's prepared for a violent confrontation. As the standoff stretches into the morning, the community of Cameron holds its collective breath. Neighbors, awakened by the commotion, peer from their windows, watching the flashing lights of police vehicles and the silhouettes of SWAT officers moving in the shadows. The negotiators persist, their voices hoarse but determined, searching for any crack in Hode's resolve. Inside the house, Hode is not just barricaded. He's preparing. He moves deliberately, gathering weapons, his intentions unclear but ominous. The tension builds with every passing minute, a ticking clock that threatens to explode. By 2 p.m., the standoff takes a dramatic turn. Hode emerges, but not to surrender. He's loading rifles and ammunition into his truck, his movements purposeful and urgent. Then, in a bold and desperate act, he jumps into the driver's seat and speeds off. "He's moving! He's moving!" officers shout, their voices crackling over the radio as they scramble to respond. Hode tears through nearby fields, his truck kicking up clouds of dirt and grass, swerving to dodge police roadblocks in a reckless bid for escape. The chase is chaotic, a high-stakes pursuit across the rural landscape, with deputies and SWAT teams struggling to keep up. Hode's flight leads him to another residence, where he attempts to force his way into an occupied home. The occupants, startled but resolute, refuse him entry, and Hode is forced to retreat. He returns to his truck, but the situation is far from resolved. The standoff is hurtling toward a breaking point. In a sudden, aggressive move, Hode throws his truck into reverse, slamming into a patrol vehicle with a deafening crunch. "Watch out! Watch out!" officers scream, their voices raw with adrenaline. The collision is the spark that ignites the chaos. Deputies open fire. "Fire! Fire!" they call out, as the sound of gunfire erupts across the field. Hode is struck, and tragically, one of his dogs, caught in the chaos, is also hit. "Stop moving! Stop moving! Hands out!" the officers demand, their commands cutting through the pandemonium.
Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop moving! Stop moving!
Amid the gunfire, a voice breaks through on the radio. "HK 93, we need an ambulance up here. Gunshot wound." EMS teams race to the scene, their sirens wailing as they navigate the rural roads. Medics leap from their vehicles, working with frantic precision to stabilize Alan Hode. They load him into an ambulance, tires screeching as they rush him to a local hospital. Despite their tireless efforts, the injuries are too severe. Alan Hode, the man known as Moose, succumbs to his wounds, leaving behind a community in shock and a family grappling with unimaginable loss. In the days that follow, the people of Cameron come together to mourn. In a local park, family, friends, and supporters gather, their faces etched with grief. They hold signs that read, "Justice for Moose," and "Steuben County failed us," their voices rising in chants that echo through the trees. They sing heartfelt songs, honoring the man they knew, a man who loved his dogs, who was a fixture in their lives, who was more than the figure in this tragic standoff. They share stories of his kindness, his quirks, his nickname Moose that spoke to his larger-than-life presence. But their gathering is also a protest, a demand for answers. Why did a welfare check, meant to help someone in crisis, end in death? Why was a mental health call met with a militarized response? Hode's family, who made the initial call out of love and concern, is heartbroken. They speak out, their voices trembling with sorrow and resolve. "We called for help, not for this," they say, their words heavy with pain. They question why the situation escalated so quickly, why specialized mental health resources weren't deployed, why the response leaned so heavily on force. They advocate for reforms, calling for law enforcement to adopt compassionate, specialized approaches to mental health crises. They want training that prioritizes de-escalation, teams equipped to handle psychological distress, and a system that sees people like Alan as individuals in need, not threats to be neutralized. The Alan Hode standoff is more than a single tragic night in Cameron, New York. It's a mirror held up to our society, reflecting the deep complexities of addressing mental health in high-stakes encounters. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. How do we balance the need for public safety with the need for empathy? How do we ensure that a call for help doesn't end in a funeral? The voices of Hode's family, chanting "Justice for Moose," carry far beyond their small town, joining a growing movement across the country demanding better training, better resources, and better outcomes for those in crisis. This story isn't over. It's a call to action, a plea to rethink how we respond to those in need. Share your thoughts below, and join us as we continue to explore the stories that shape our world. Thank you for listening.